let's go ahead and start talking a little bit about motivation. And then we're going to talk about some meditation. And we're going to talk about some inspiration to wrap it up. So, today was the first day that I went back into a sauna in almost a year. And I just spent about an hour in there. Okay? And, it's amazing how it was just like a walk in the park because I have been spending time on myself. I've been spending time in the place within the ability to meditate and to put the diet in place and put the stuff into a place where it's being utilized. So are you utilizing your mentality out there? That's the question that I have for all of you today. I know that there's new followers. There's people that are following me on different podcasts from, Google to Apple to Anchor, as well as a few other podcasts out there. And I would hope that as a listener, you would be able to relate. Okay, you would be able to see how your challenges, they're not there to stop you. Okay, they're actually not there to hold you back either. What matters the most is what you believe about yourselves, okay? It's about how you believe in you. And so the story of the day about this meditation was that as I was in there, I could feel the heat. It was increasing, The water bottle that I brought in there that was steel was so hot it was almost burning my hands. But the temperature inside was cool because of what's going on inside. So now let's go ahead and take a look at how we can relate this to our working and our professional life. A lot of times we're thrown into situations where we feel like we can't handle it. Okay? And I know, at least for myself, there's situations where we feel like it might not be possible. Okay? So then we start at it. We give a little bit of time. We give a little bit of patience. We work with it, right? We spend the time working on it. And all of a sudden, in that time, the difficulty, it hasn't changed. It's still difficult. It's still working there. The difference is your mentality has increased. Your ability inside of who you are has started to open up. It started to say, I'm going to focus, and this isn't going to be greater than I am. Because I am greater than the challenges that I face off against. And so you continue to work at it. All of a sudden you find yourself 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and eventually the 8 or 12 hours or whatever amount of hours you're working your position. So let's go ahead and analyze that. Did anything change? The mentality is the only thing that changed. The position was still difficult. You still had to do things that weren't easy. You still had to work through things that weren't easy. You had to put yourself in a place. You had to stay in a place that was not easy. And so when you were doing that in your lives, are you finding the way to have patience with yourselves? Are you finding the ways to believe in you? Are you finding the ways to believe in your ability, right? Because that's what it means to have an able mentality. It's not that the challenges don't come. It's not that we won't have handicaps. It's not that we don't have the best positions. It's when we utilize our mentality. It's when we utilize our abilities. It's when we utilize our focus that the process, for each action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? So if you're cool on the inside and it's hot on the outside, you're still cool on the inside, right? So how can we start to embrace that part? And so that's where I was inside of the sauna. And this is where I start talking a little bit about meditation, okay? And I started working with the energy within. I started working with the ability within. I started working through the challenge of being inside the process, okay? Being inside the process of the challenges is what matters the most. Not necessarily the challenge, right? Some of you start a job on a Monday, and by a Friday, it's easy. But then all of a sudden you go back on Monday and it's difficult again. And so how by Friday is it easy, but on Monday it's not? What if it's easy on Monday And by Friday, it's easy. Could we start to put our mentality in a place where we start embracing our positions, our companionships, our relationships, our abilities inside of ourselves, to start to give ourselves the ability to recognize that we can overcome things with our minds. And so when we are in a place where we're working on breath work, when we're in a place where we're feeling the temperature increase, when we're in a place, remind yourself it's just a part of the process. It's just a part of being who you are. Okay? And so inside that process, inside that place, inside that ability within, is a reminder for you that you are worth it, that your challenges are not greater than you, that the ability inside of yourself is what it takes. And so, how can we study that? How can we put ourselves with an ability within to see that, to start to overcome that, to start to become that kind of student in our lives? And so this is what I'm talking to you guys about today. I'm talking about what it takes to find that kind of place. I'm talking about what it takes to find that kind of ability. And I'm talking about what it takes to believe in yourselves. And so sometimes we're in a cloud of fog. We're not sure how to make our way through it. And this is the place where believing in yourself and self-talk comes in. Self-talk gives you the ability to say to yourself, I'm going to be positive today. I'm going to believe, I'm going to see the stories, I'm going to see the lessons. I'm going to find a way to overcome the challenges within. I'm going to find a way to overcome the things that are going on inside of me and on the outside. And so when you start to get inwards, when you start to spend that time studying yourself, when you start to get into those kind of arts and crafts and skills that are bringing you closer towards your mentality, then you're in a place of meditation, my friends. That's when other people see you in your crafts. That's when other people see you in your abilities. That's when other people start to ask you, how do you do this? How do you find that space for yourself? How do you find that ability inside of who you are? And you see, it's up to you to want it. It's up to you to achieve it. It's up to you to find that light within you in those dark places in your mind. Those dark places in your abilities, the things that we tell ourselves we can't do. And when we start to tell ourselves we can believe in who we are, we can believe in our abilities within, we can believe in our mentality. This is what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about it with you guys. I'm sharing it with you. I'm sharing the experiences. I'm sharing the mentality. I look at what it takes. I look at what it means. I look at how to overcome and how to get within. I am so grateful for the challenges that I faced off against. I'm so grateful for the things that I have gone through. I'm so grateful that others are there to embrace, that they're there to see these things. I've seen people who have achieved amazing things in their lives from little, and we all can do that. But you have to find a way to connect your focus, and you got to find a way to connect your knowledge, that you can become centered in it, that you can in fact find a way through it. I definitely would like to inspire you. I'd like to you to see it as a reflection that it's possible for you to do it for yourself. It's possible for you to utilize your being. It's possible for you to utilize your ability. And it's possible for you to find a way to believe that you are worth it. And in that place, in that space, you become the teacher of your life. You become the student and the teacher that is centered within you, the thought process, the great vibration that you are in a human being. And so what a blessing it is. I see gifts, talents, abilities within you all. Well, as I close, I just want to say blessings to you all. As always, namaste.